Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today is day 8 of Sockmas. In today's video, I think I'm going to try something different. I have a couple of these pillows that I got that don't have pillowcases. So I thought it would be fun to try to do some flat knitting on the knitting machine to make panels and then seam them together to make a pillowcase for this pillow that I have. So I started by putting the larger cylinder on the machine. So the largest one that I have is 72 needles. I'm not sure how many needles I'll have to take out of work to get the machine to knit flat, but the panels are not going to be that big. I was thinking it would be fun to make them different sizes, so it's kind of a patchwork thing. It's all just a test at this point. I could also use this opportunity to try cabling and maybe practice on the ribber a little bit more. Not sure if you can use the ribber flat. The ribber is like so tricky. I don't know what you can do with the ribber besides make a rib. Try to make a rib. Maybe I'll try to make one on this. I'm not sure. But right now, what I'm thinking is just make a bunch of panels, seam them together to make a pillowcase. So I have a bunch of sock yarn that's left over from old sock videos. So some of it might look familiar. And then I have a bunch of other yarn that is a mix of sock yarn. I have some skinny singles, and then I have some yarn that it's just like fingering weight yarn. Some of it is like DK weight yarn, and then I have some that's just like kind of very fine random yarn. So I'll show you really quickly what I have. From my old sock videos, I have this blue yarn, which is a little bit thicker. This was actually the yarn that I was using the other day when I did the brown and red checkerboard, and then I tried to do the pink heel. This is like the same yarn as that pink heel yarn, but this is blue. So this one, I think I'm just gonna have to remember that this might need a slightly different tension than some of the other yarns because it's a little thicker. I have this yarn, which is from, I think it's from my Boylan socks last year from Colorwork Socks. This is Hedgehog Fibers yarn. I think the color is called Raku. This, I forget the brand of this. This I made a pair of socks maybe 2 years ago with this from 52 Weeks of Socks. Same with this. I think these were like back-to-back weeks because I made a pair of socks for my aunt and then my uncle with these. This is also from 52 Weeks of Socks. This is, I forget the brand, but I forget the name of the socks, but I made them, oh my gosh, what are they called? It's like on the tip of my tongue. I forget. And then I have this gray, which is for my very first sock from 52 Weeks of Socks. I also have this bright color. I also have this, which I think is a Dream in Color yarn. And this might technically be a little bit bigger than sock yarn, but it looks pretty fine, so I'm hoping it'll work. Those are all the like sock yarns. And then I also have some like random yarns just for my stash. I pulled some white yarns. Some of these have price tags on them because I did a de-stash market and I was selling things. I have this sock yarn and this sock yarn. I have these, which are, I think technically fingering weight. They're very fine once you actually start knitting with them. They're 100% wool. I have this mohair. I'm really curious to try mohair on the machine. And then a couple skinny singles. This is King Fiber. I can't see it. This is actually from a trade. This beautiful King Fiber yarn. Plenty of stuff to work with. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the machine. I realize now that this is probably gonna be a lot of like casting on with the setup on it, but that's okay. Let's just see what happens. Color number 1. It took me 3 tries to get the yarn to stay on this larger cylinder. I think it was a mix of having to adjust like where the yarn feeder is and stuff like that. So I finally got it to work. Hopefully it works, because I was thinking this would be like a fun, easy project, and now it's not. And now it's starting to be a bit more complicated. So I finally got the scrap yarn on. I'm gonna add a ravel cord, because I think once I go to assemble the pillowcase, it's gonna have like a bunch of exposed loops that I'm gonna have to knit up to close them somehow. So I'm gonna do a ravel cord instead of just scrap yarn to main color. And then I remembered that I was gonna try to knit flat, so I'm thinking maybe I'll try to start knitting flat with the scrap yarn and then put the ravel cord on and then put my main color on. Okay, yeah, and I'm gonna try that now. I've got about 6, maybe 7 inches in the hedgehog fibers yarn, and now I kind of want to try doing some color work. And I was thinking, since the pillows are 20 by 20 inches, I could probably do 40 inches max length and like fold it over. I'm gonna try the color work portion. Hopefully I don't mess it up, because it took me a while to figure out like how to get this to work. And I'm now knitting flat. I ended up taking out the section of needles that I took out of work anyway, because I had some green scrap yarn on there for a while, and then it was kind of like making the sock making the fabric that I'm knitting hang weird, because like only one side was growing and then it was like hanging on to the little bit of scrap yarn at the top. I'm just gonna try to keep making this work, and I'm using my heel forks to get it to hang properly. When I took that little bit of scrap yarn off, it actually, since I'm knitting flat now, it didn't have a place to hold the weight anymore, so I had to take this little cable ring thing and push it all the way up to the top to get it to hold the weight. So I'm kind of figuring out how to do this as I go, but it just started working. So I think I'm gonna take this solid gray and start doing a little checkerboard pattern. I don't know why I'm gonna do that. It's gonna make it take longer, and it's already taking a long time, but I think it would look cute. I'm gonna try the checkerboard, and then after that I'll probably switch to like solid or maybe stripe. I want some cute funky pillows. Unfortunately, I started dropping stitches when I switched to the checkerboard. Of course, exactly what I was afraid of happened. This is what I did. I literally made this panel, and as soon as I got it to work, then switching to checkerboard, yeah, I started dropping stitches. Maybe it's because I was knitting flat and doing color work. Maybe I should have like tightened the tension, I don't know, but I only got like 4 rows into the color work and it stopped working. So this is what I made in the video today. I'm gonna stop the video here and maybe try to make some more panels on my own, but I don't know, like really didn't work very well. So I'm wondering if I try this again, maybe I'll just knit tubes and then cut them open to do this, because it was really challenging to just knit a panel. Yeah. Here's my panel. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Hopefully this wasn't too lame. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.